On June 8, 2026, a civilian Navy employee left work for what should have been an ordinary lunch break. The man, reported to be in his late 20s, worked at the Naval Surface Warfare Center in Panama City, Florida. At around 11:45 that morning, he entered the water near the Morale, Welfare, and Recreation Marina at Naval Support Activity Panama City. Another employee was reportedly swimming nearby. Nothing about the location suggested that a major emergency was seconds away. The marina sat inside St. Andrews Bay, surrounded by docks, boats, and buildings belonging to the naval installation. Then the surface suddenly erupted. A camera positioned onshore captured the man violently struggling in the water. A dark dorsal fin appeared beside him before disappearing beneath the surface again. The swimmer thrashed desperately as the shark remained close to his body. The attack happened quickly, but it did not appear to end after a single bite. In the recording, the animal repeatedly surfaced near the victim while he attempted to remain above water. The disturbance was visible from the marina. People onshore could see that the man was in trouble, although the first emergency report apparently described the situation as a possible drowning. As the struggle continued, witnesses realized that a shark was attacking him. The victim suffered severe injuries to both arms. The exact sequence of bites has not been officially reconstructed, but the location of the injuries suggests that he may have raised his arms defensively or attempted to push the animal away. Against a large shark, even a few seconds of contact can cause catastrophic blood loss. People near the marina immediately moved to help. The injured employee was brought back toward shore, where personnel attempted to control his bleeding until emergency responders arrived. Naval Support Activity, Panama City Fire and Emergency Services treated him at the scene before transporting him to HCA Florida Gulf Coast Hospital. He was listed in critical condition when he was taken away. His identity was withheld, and officials released few details about the full extent of his injuries. The shark species was also not officially confirmed. A NOAA researcher later suggested that a bull shark was a likely possibility because bull sharks regularly enter bays, estuaries, and shallow coastal water throughout the region. St. Andrews Bay connects directly with the Gulf of Mexico. Sharks can move through its channels without ever being visible from the surface. Bull sharks are especially suited to this environment. They tolerate changing levels of salinity and frequently travel through water close to beaches, rivers, and marinas. However, the distant recording did not provide enough detail for a positive identification. What made this attack particularly disturbing was its location. The victim was not diving far offshore or swimming beside a remote island. He was taking a short break from work beside an active United States Navy installation. Emergency personnel, buildings, and other employees were all nearby. Yet the shark reached him without any visible warning. The footage spread quickly because it captured the entire situation from a distance. The apparently calm marina, the sudden explosion of water, and the fin repeatedly appearing beside the swimmer. But this was not the only shark-related emergency to occur along the Florida Panhandle that month. On June 5, 2026, only 3 days before the Navy employee was attacked, another shark-related emergency unfolded near Fort Pickens, roughly 100 miles west of Panama City. A fisherman had caught a bull shark in the waters near Pensacola Beach. At first, the situation appeared to be under control. The shark was still attached to the fishing line, and the man moved closer, preparing to remove the hook or cut the animal free. But a hooked bull shark is far from harmless. Even after being pulled through the water and brought close to shore, the animal can still twist its entire body with tremendous force. Its head can turn far more quickly than a person standing beside it may expect. The fisherman leaned within reach. For a moment, the shark appeared restrained by the line. Then it suddenly turned. Before the man could move away, the bull shark clamped onto his leg. The bite immediately transformed the fishing trip into a medical emergency. People nearby called for help as rescue crews were dispatched toward Fort Pickens. A medical helicopter was also seen arriving in the area, showing the seriousness of the initial response. The fisherman survived, although the full extent of his injuries and the treatment he required were not widely released. Because the shark had already been hooked and the man was attempting to handle or release it, the bite was considered a provoked encounter. It was very different from the Navy base attack, where a shark approached an employee swimming in open water. But even more disturbing incidents had already occurred along the same section of Florida's coastline. 2 years earlier, several miles of the Florida Panhandle were thrown into panic when 3 swimmers were attacked in separate incidents within approximately 90 minutes. 2 years earlier, on June 7, 2024, the Florida Panhandle experienced an even more alarming sequence of attacks. At approximately 1:20 in the afternoon, a 45-year-old woman was swimming near Watersound Beach in Walton County. She was reportedly beyond the first sandbar with her husband when a shark attacked her. The animal caused severe injuries to her midsection and left arm. Part of the arm later had to be amputated. Emergency crews airlifted her to a hospital in critical condition. Authorities began closing the surrounding beaches, but before the warning could spread across the entire coastline, another attack occurred approximately 4 miles away. Around 90 minutes after the first incident, a group of teenage girls was standing in waist-deep water near Seacrest or Inlet Beach. A shark suddenly entered the shallows and attacked 2 of them. One girl, 15-year-old Lulu Gribben, suffered devastating injuries to her hand and leg. She later lost her left hand and part of her right leg. A second teenager, 17-year-old McCrae Faust, was bitten on the foot but suffered less severe injuries. People on the beach rushed into the water and pulled the girls to safety. Tourniquets were applied before medical helicopters transported the most seriously injured victim to the hospital. 3 people had been attacked in 2 separate incidents within approximately 90 minutes. Authorities closed the water and raised double red warning flags along affected beaches. The attacks shocked Walton County because serious shark encounters were considered extremely uncommon there. Officials described the events as an anomaly, especially because multiple victims were attacked in such a short period and within the same coastal area. Whether the same shark was responsible for both incidents was never conclusively established. However, the attacks demonstrated how quickly danger could move along the Panhandle coastline and how difficult it could be to warn every swimmer before another encounter occurred. 2 years later, the attack at Naval Support Activity Panama City brought that fear back. Once again, the victim had been doing something completely ordinary. He was not hunting sharks or knowingly entering a dangerous situation. He was simply swimming near his workplace when the water erupted around him. The camera captured only a few terrifying moments. Behind those moments was a desperate rescue, severe injuries, and a reminder that sharks can enter water that appears calm, protected, and familiar. The 2024 Walton County victims survived. The Fort Pickens fishermen survived. And when the Navy employee was pulled from St. Andrews Bay on June 8, 2026, emergency personnel were still fighting to ensure that he survived as well.